Dear children, welcome to the fourth session on the chapter Biomolecules. In this molecule, we are going to learn about the next two types of biomicromolecules, namely the sugars and the nitrogen bases. Okay, so sugars. What are sugars? They are otherwise called as carbohydrates. They are sweet and water soluble carbohydrates. So they are sweet in nature, and about the nature, they are soluble in water, and they are formed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 1. For example, the simple sugars examples are glucose and ribose. Glucose, it's having six carbon atoms, whereas in the case of ribose, they are having 5 carbon atoms. And we can see the formula. It is 1 is to 2 is to 1. C6H12O6 and ribose C5H10O5. So that's about sugars. They are soluble in water and they are sweet to taste. And nitrogen bases, the last type of biomicromolecules. They are nitrogen containing cyclic compounds. The structure is cyclic in nature and they are found in nucleic acids. What are nucleic acids? They are DNA and RNA which carry the characteristics. Okay, they are the unit of inheritance. And the nitrogen bases, they are cyclic in nature and they contain nitrogen. Okay, so they are nitrogen containing cyclic compounds found in the nucleic acids. And they are classified into two. They are purines and pyrimidines. Well, purines are the structure of purine. They are double-ringed structure, whereas pyrimidines, they are single-ringed structure. So based on its structure, two-ring structures are called as purines and single-ring structure, they are called as pyrimidines. Purines are of two types, adenine, guanine, okay, whereas pyrimidines are three types, cytosine, thymine and uracil. Cytosine, thymine and uracil. These two we would have heard, adenine triphosphate, guanosine triphosphate. All these are derived from adenine and guanine. So nitrogen bases are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are double ring structures, whereas pyrimidines are single ring structures. Two types of purines are adenine and guanine. And three types of pyrimidines are, which are they? Very good. They are cytosine, thymine and uracil. Now, these nitrogen bases, they get linked to a sugar. Okay, they get linked to a sugar molecule, and such a structure in which such a compound which is formed by linking of a nitrogen base to a sugar is called as a nucleoside. What is it called as? It is called as a nucleoside. We can see this is a sugar molecule to which adenine is attached, and this is again another sugar molecule to which a uracil is attached. So a nitrogen base plus sugar, it forms a nucleoside. So depending upon the nitrogen base, the nucleoside will have different name. If adenine nitrogen base is attached to a sugar, the compound formed is called as adenosine triphosphate. So what is adenosine? It is nothing but the nitrogen base adenine linked to a sugar. Now guanine attached to a sugar, it forms guanosine triphosphate. Cytosine plus sugar, it forms cytidine. Thymine plus sugar, it forms thymidine. Uracil plus sugar, it forms uridine. So these are the different types of nucleosides. Adenosine, guanosine, cytidine, thymidine and uridine. So once again, the nitrogen bases are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. So depending when this nitrogen bases are linked to a sugar, it forms a nucleoside. And there are 5 different types of nucleosides formed based on the type of nitrogen bases attached to the sugar. So again, the next structure which has to be formed is a nucleotide. That is the nucleoside which is having a nitrogen base plus sugar, and this nucleoside, when it is linked to a phosphate group, okay, it is linked to a phosphate group, it forms a nucleotide. So first we learned about nitrogen base. Second, when the nitrogen base is attached to a sugar, it forms a nucleoside. Again, when a nucleoside is attached to a phosphate, it forms a nucleotide. So let us learn about the different types of nucleotides. Okay, so when adenine, okay, adenine plus sugar plus phosphate, it forms adenylate acid. Guanine plus sugar plus phosphate, it forms guanylic acid. Cytosine plus sugar plus phosphate, it forms cytidilic acid. Thymine plus sugar plus phosphate, it forms thymidyllic acid, uracil plus sugar plus phosphate, it forms uridylic acid. So these are the different types of nucleosides based on the type of nitrogen base attached to the sugar and phosphate. So what are nucleotides? They are compounds formed by linking of a nitrogen base, a sugar and a phosphate. Yes, very good. That's about a nucleotide. So nucleotides, they are heterocyclic compounds. Okay, nucleotides, they are heterocyclic compounds. We know they are having a ringed structure. They are cyclic structures, isn't it? The purines and pyrimides, they are having double ringed and single ring structures. So they are heterocyclic compounds. And the nucleic acids, that is RNA and DNA, they are the basic repeating unit in the nucleic acids are nothing but the nucleotides. Either it can, what is DNA stands for? Deoxyribonucleotides. Nucleotides. And what does RNA stand for? Ribonucleotides. So the repeating unit which forms the structure of the DNA and RNA are nothing but the nucleotides. So dear children, in this module we learnt about the last two types of biomicromolecules, namely the nitrogen bases and sugars. Thank you.